Every man should be building something for his family, and it doesn't matter what it is, but anything can become an investment if you let it be. So for example, these are our sheep here in our paddock, and when we first got this land it was just blank. There was no fencing or anything like that. I did all the fencing myself with a contractor to ram the posts. Like these trees here are fodder trees, and we're just trying it out in this method of growing them at the moment, and if they grow then we're going to set this whole paddock up with these, which will double the amount of stock that we can have in this paddock. It's a one-time investment that we've put in order to set things up for these sheep. And now these sheep, they are basically an investment as well. So if you look at this guy here, I'm going to try to zoom in on him. That guy there is the ram, and he is a pretty heavy ram. He's about 70-80 kilos, and he's in with these hoggets, and you know what rams like to do to use, and eventually they're going to lamb, and then those lambs we're going to be able to eventually, feeding them on the land, basically turning grass into meat, we're going to be able to put them in the freezer. And it was a one-time investment to set all this up, and now it's something that we'll be able to build up the size of our flock and the quality of our flock over time, and it's able to feed our family. So really these sheep were an investment, and probably one of the better investments that we've made on our land as well. And of course it doesn't just have to be limited to sheep, it can be anything. I'm a big fan of land because it's a very tangible thing, it's something that you can really develop over time, over the course of generations of your family, but it doesn't have to be that, but it does have to be something. If you're serious about setting up a lasting legacy and something for your family in order to achieve greatness, then you need to be investing your money. It doesn't have to be in sheep, like I said, but it can be in stocks, it can be in real estate, it can be in bonds even. Even if you're like one of those precious metal guys, you can be putting money into that and setting like a nice little nest egg up for your family. It could be crypto. Maybe you're really good at gambling effectively, and you put some money in crypto, or maybe you put some money in Bitcoin, which a lot of guys would argue is not the same thing. But it doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're building something. So some examples of the things that I've built is this land, for example. We own this free and clear. When we got it was quite run down. Still needs a lot of work, obviously, but there's the thing that I'm putting a lot of my time into. This is like my hobby, and it's something I really enjoy. I like getting out here with my sons and helping develop their skills. Another thing that I've built is an e-commerce store, and that's something that I operate with my kids, and together we pack parcels and we take them into town, and they get compensated for working in the business, and it helps make the family money, so they really appreciate that. I built a local business where I do like handyman work and electrical work. I'm an electrician by trade, so and that's something I take my son along to, my oldest son, and he really enjoys that, and it's been really fun building that up with him. I have an investment portfolio of stocks. There's just lots of things that I have done over the span of my life with my family in mind, with the idea of setting up a generational asset. And it can come in any form. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a business, it have to be stocks. It can be something like sheep. It can be something like paying off your car debt. It can be something like planting an orchard, which is another thing that we plan here. But it doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're doing something. Because if you aren't working and you aren't investing and you aren't building up like a nice portfolio for your kids to live off of, or not live off of, but build upon, like as a foundation eventually, then you're ultimately only setting them further behind. We all know, like in the past 50, 60 years, things have gotten a lot harder for individuals and for families. And it's really our responsibility as men and as providers for our family to set things up for the next generation. That's not so they can't work or they don't have to work, because that's silly. Everyone needs to work, and a family that rests on its laurels, that doesn't wind up producing anything, eventually falls into decay. And if you do the quick math on it, it's inevitable that your family is eventually going to have to work, because your family grows exponentially, but stocks and bonds and whatever investment portfolio that you have that is relatively passive doesn't. So you need to make sure your family keeps working, and assets like this are the perfect example of something that you can build that will grow along with your family. You can increase the fertility, you can add other income streams, you can add other dwellings to it. There's lots you can do with land that creates opportunities for your family. But regardless of what it is, you need to set something up to act as the foundation for your family during your span as the reigning patriarch, because if you don't, then you're not really doing your job properly, frankly, because you're not setting things up in such a way that you are ensuring the future of your dynasty and the future of your bloodline. And if you're given the opportunity to do that, then why wouldn't you take that? Why would you take the option of buying toys and living in hedonism over setting something up for your family and investing in the relationships within your children in order to build a strong bond? Because if you're not doing that, then your family's sure to fail. So just a couple of quick thoughts from me on building up assets and creating things that last for your family. You can see now I'm actually walking down this strip here, and this is a strip that we know we're going to be planting pine trees, and this is going to act as a shelter belt for a potential orchard one day. So it's just like an example of one of the things that we're doing as a project to improve this property. If you're the kind of guy who is interested in legacy, is interested in dynasty, and wants to build something that lasts for his family, then come and check out The Foundry. It's a group of legacy-minded men that are all working together to support each other in our growth as men and in our mission to be better providers for our family. I'll leave a link in the description for you if you want to check that out. And while you're looking at it, remember to subscribe and hit the like button and drop a comment letting me know something that you're building for your family. Be interested to know if there's anything in my brief overview that I missed. So yeah, just let me know down below. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.